The Vision High School Sports Beat is brought to you by the 12 locally owned dealerships of the Vision Automotive Group, offering Buick, GMC, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, Kia, and Nissan. Check out all the selection at any location online at visionauto.com. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We begin this week in Irondequoit, where a coach is saying goodbye to 30 years of coaching and the huge crowd that came out to support him. Here's Paul Gotham saying goodbye to Coach Mabb.
In 1983, Ronald Reagan was the President of the United States. A gallon of gas cost $1.23, and Joe Altobelli led the Baltimore Orioles to the World Series. That same year, Tim Mabb began his career in education, a career that has now spanned 4 decades and touched the lives of countless students and colleagues, in particular those at the West Irondequoit Central School District.
Tim's just a throwback, and he doesn't like attention. He wants the attention brought with his teams that he coached.
What has he meant to this community here at Irondequoit?
He's meant a lot. Tim taught at the north end of the district. I taught at the south end of the district, and we got all the kids, boys, girls, whatever, into sports, try to get them going, and he's been a stabilizing factor down at the north end. And I'll have kids that he taught, he'll have kids that I taught, and he's just been very consistent. One thing about Tim, you know what you're going to get. There's going to be no nonsense from his teams. They're going to play hard, they're going to play together, they're going to play smart, and they're going to play to win.
Irondequoit celebrated Tim Mabb's career on May 14th when the Eagles hosted the Hilton Cadets.
He's been here a long time, as long as I can remember. He was my 4th grade phys ed teacher. He was the head coach back then. Played for him, so we'll try to keep on getting kids better in Irondequoit baseball and see if we can help this program thrive.
It's going to be different for sure. I mean, they probably said the same thing after Kenny Slater left when he left, but Coach Mabb came and had some good teams. Won a sectional championship, and a bunch of good players come through. A few that a bunch that wanted to play college ball and pro ball. So it'll be different, but it's transition. But I think they'll be good.
I've offered basketball-wise for him to come for just the games. He does. He helps me with substitutions. He keeps the minutes for the games, and I know how much guys are playing, how long guys have been playing, and he's been a valuable asset.
35 years coaching baseball. The last 22 as the varsity skipper at Irondequoit. He didn't stop there. Mabb has also coached football at the JV level for 35 years and basketball at the modified and JV levels over that same time.
He's disciplined. He's a man of routine and schedule, and he's going to be in the same place at the same time. You can bet on it. He's retired now, but he's going to be at that weight room sweating in the morning, and you knew where he was going to be every moment of every day, and I think he does too. So when he retired from teaching, he had some time to fill, and I think he'll have the same. He'll have to figure out how he's going to fill his time without coaching next year. That'll be tough for him.
It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of love for the game and love working with kids. And Tim brings it, and he's the most loyal guy I've ever had on our basketball staff. He's just a fantastic guy.
I definitely think it's his love for the community. He's been around for so long, and just loves coaching. And he's just it's in his blood. I don't know how he's done it. 3 sports is a lot.
His career started in the Rush Henrietta School District, where he coached for 2 years at the modified level. Along the way, he also coached at Churchville Chili and at Webster Schrader. Make no mistake, though, he has left his imprint on the Irondequoit athletic program.
When we won the state championship, I was happy and everybody was happy, but I don't think anybody was happier than Tim Mabb.
Tim Mabb's varsity coaching career ended with Irondequoit's loss in the sectionals. His influence, though, will last for years to come. What's it taken for you to get to this point?
A lot of time, hard work, dedication, memories, a lot of effort. It's all been worth it. I think a lot of things have changed recently, with baseball, with a lot to do with the pitch count and the eligibility and things of that nature, which I feel strongly that they're really good things. But here we've always had great kids that work hard. Parents have always been very supportive, and I just think that's what makes this district stand out a little bit.
You don't like a lot of this recognition stuff, and plaques aren't for you, so we thought that bringing all the guys to you would be something that you would appreciate more than just a plaque. So what we'd like to do
From
is...
Ken Slater Field at Irondequoit High School, this is Paul Gotham with the Vision High School Sports Beat.
Irondequoit's season ended with a sectional loss to Athena in the quarterfinals. Well, coming up, East High baseball coach Kyle Crandall joins us for the Dunkin Donuts High School Notebook. We've got that and more when the Vision High School Sports Beat returns.
You have FOMOS, fear of missing out on smoked sausage. But fear not. Dunkin' Smoked Sausage Breakfast Sandwich is here. With a savory smokehouse flavor, it can put an end to FOMOS.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, brought to you by Dunkin Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. And we are joined this week by Kyle Crandall, veteran coach from East High Baseball. Kyle, thanks for joining us this week. Talk a little bit about the season you guys had. It was another pretty successful run for you guys.
Yeah, we graduated a lot of players last year, and we had a couple key players coming back. But I think some people thought it would be a little bit of a rebuilding year, and much to the credit of the kids on the team, they just really bought into a team concept this year, and we won a lot of close games, including the two games in our city tournament, which were both come from behind wins late in the game. And so just very proud of our kids in terms of what they have accomplished this year, and far exceeded the expectations that most had coming into the season.
City baseball in general, how is the status of that league right now?
So I know for a while there had been a big knock on city baseball, and I think going back into the early 2000s, East was the only program that had been able to defeat a non-city team in sectionals. We had beaten Churchville Chilai, and I think it was 2005. But the last 3 years, we've had 3 different teams from our league who have advanced in sectionals by beating a team that was not a city team. Of course, we had a historic run at East a couple years ago and made it all the way to the AA championship game. I think that you're seeing a little bit of a gap where the gap was pretty wide. I think we're starting to narrow it a little bit, and that's a credit to all of the coaches and many of the programs that are working really hard.
You mentioned making it to the AA finals. Let's talk about this year's AA finals. Let's talk about Victor and a fantastic way. Talk about a great way to win a championship.
Well, I don't know about a great way. I think you'd have to ask Coach Rucker about that. But congratulations to Coach Rucker and to Victor, who routinely has been in and around the finals and many championships under Sean's tutelage. And just what a great coach. But the opportunity, I think, for them to have revenge on last year's scenario, where they built a pretty sizable lead early on McQuaid, and then McQuaid stormed back, and now they have a chance to play in the championship game. And
then 2 other winners from the weekend, Canandaigua and Wayne, both coming up big.
How about Canandaigua in A1? I mean, there's a bracket that everyone looked at and said from the beginning was a pretty loaded bracket filled with a lot of really good baseball teams. And Canandaigua, who hadn't won a sectional title since 1995 and is now has repeated 3 years in a row. How about those Wayne Eagles? I mean, we've seen it in basketball the last 2 years, where they overcame a large drought in basketball, and now they've done it in baseball as well. And they hadn't won a sectional title in baseball since 1955, and they were able to do that. And I actually had the privilege of being able to be there. Coach Struzik, I know he's been at it for almost 20 years, give or take a year or two in there, and they should be really proud. He does it the right way, really classy coach. Those kids were a really classy group of kids as well. So it's always nice to see a group that's worked really, really hard overcome a really long drought like they did in Wayne. So they call themselves the Wayne train over there, and they have a lot to be proud of and a very proud accomplishment.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Kyle. Hard to believe that sectional championships are over in baseball for another year. This has been the Dunkin Donuts High School Notebook. Coming up next, the Wegmans Making the Grade nominee with Kim. And later on, Bishop Kearney blends a unique team into a dominating force in softball. We've got that story when the Vision High School Sports Beat continues.
Came now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back, and thanks for watching the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Kim Burnson. It's time now for Making the Grade, brought to you by Wegmans. Wegmans is a proud supporter of Making the Grade, which highlights the accomplishments of Section 5 student athletes on and off the playing field.
Making the grade this week is Ashley Watros of Newark High School. Ashley has proven herself to be a very driven individual. As a senior, she continues to set goals for herself and has succeeded in achieving those goals year after year. Ashley bowled for the varsity team at Newark, and this past season, all of her concentration and hard work paid off. She held the top average in Section 5 with a 206.62, and as a captain, led her team to a Class C title. On top of that, she landed a spot competing at states and was the DNC's Girls Bowler of the Year. Aside from what she's achieved in competition, Ashley is also a standout student carrying a 90 average and is a member of the Creative Writing Club. After school, she also participates in the junior program for the town's local ambulance base. This fall, she plans to attend SUNY Oswego and hopes her passion for bowling will help grow the sport in college. Her goal is to take the club team to the next level. Nominated for her hunger to succeed, this week Ashley Watros is Making the Grade.
If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. You can send them in to info@classywolf.com. And now here's Dave with the Section 5 Spotlight.
Well, thanks, Kim. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in this week's Section 5 Spotlight, brought to you by McCardles in Fairport. Come home to McCardles. Hilton's Laura Regal jumped 11 feet and 4.5 inches at the Class AA sectionals, winning the pole vault event. And Laura, an 8th grader, set a New York State record for 8th grade pole vaulters. A double congrats to Newark Baseball as Coach Mike McGavis was named Class B Coach of the Year, and senior Ben Cowles was named Class B Player of the Year. Spencerport's Vanessa Watson set a new Section 5 record in the 400 hurdles at sectionals with a time of 58.57 seconds, which is the second best time in the country this year and 4th best all-time for New York State. And finally, Michael Scully of Irondequoit Baseball had a huge day in clinching the Braves' 3rd straight Section 5 Class A1 title. Scully pitched a complete game, 1-hit shutout of Brockport, and added 3 hits of his own in the 4-0 win. Up next, the Kings have a shot at another Section 5 championship when the Vision High School Sports Beat continues. Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the Vision High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. It was early in April when the girls hockey team at Bishop Kearney played for a national championship. Now 5 of those girls have transitioned to the softball diamond and helped strengthen an already good team. And the Kings are looking to repeat. They say that winning a championship is difficult, but trying to repeat, well, that's even harder. The Bishop Kearney softball team is living proof of that. Last year's run to the state crown was pretty unexpected, but when you finish out on top, you're not going to sneak up on anybody.
They had to bring a whole different approach this year because everybody knew what their strengths and weaknesses were. So we preached, make your strengths stronger, make your weaknesses stronger. And they had to because people were coming after us, and you could see the way they're pitching to the girls that were returning from last year's team. It was really obvious we were scouted pretty well, So they worked on that, and then we do evaluations on our own team. We have our team meetings. We do our scout report on our own team. What would we do to beat us? How would I coach to beat you guys? And then we practice that.
I think so far this year we're focusing more on this year than more so last year because this is a new team, this is a new year, so we just need to play to the best of our ability and compete as much as we can, which I think we've done a really good job of so far.
Taking that approach means having a team that is willing to commit themselves, and that was no problem with this group.
You have to be all in, and now they've developed a reputation, and now they got the bullseye on their chest. And they kind of like that, though, which is kind of neat. So I wasn't sure. I was talking with Chris Carden over at Irondequoit. He said, get ready. It's a different approach, defending as opposed to getting. You know, like they say, you work your butt off to get there, and then once you get there, you got to work harder.
We play a sport that is mostly failure, so you have to have good mental toughness, and you just got to know that if you make a mistake, you got 8 other girls behind you backing you up, and it's okay to make a mistake because, you go 1 for 3 and you're batting 300, and in other sports, it's like, oh, that's terrible, but you're a superstar, so softball is just a completely different sport, and you have to know you're going to fail most of the time.
I think all of us are confident, and we all are confident in each other. Like, we are all confident in Emily pitching, and when she knows that we have her back on any hit, and I think we all have I think we have one of the strongest hitting teams. We have strong hitters from the top to the bottom of the lineup, and I think that helps us the most.
Being successful in softball usually means having a pitcher who can give a strong performance every game. Kearney has one of the best in Phelan. She is on pace to set a new Section 5 career strikeout record and realizes that her success on the diamond is due in large part to her hard work off of it.
It just takes a lot of outside work and dedication, and there's been so many times where I'm so tired and I don't want to do anything else, but I go in the backyard and I throw, or at least I take something out and I just work on my spins while I'm sitting down or something. It just takes so much extra work than just school practices and travel practices. There's so much outside dedication that has to go in, and thanks to my mom, who I always have a resource for right there, it's awesome because I can always get the outside work in whenever I need it.
She's a consummate professional, if I could say that word for a young kid. She's very humble. She does a lot of things behind the scenes. I was involved with the strength program in the off season, and she was diligent about that. Never missed a training cycle. Would come and lift all off season. That's hard for a young kid to do that, And she was there, and she likes to have the ball. She's one of those kids who are giving the ball. And when she's in the circle, that's her home.
There has been no place like home this year for Emily and her teammates. They only dropped 1 game during the regular season, and it might have been the best thing that could have happened.
I think, obviously, I wanted to win that game. Obviously, you never want to lose, but I think that was needed for us. I think we really turned on the gears after that, because in the beginning of the year, obviously, it's tough getting going in the beginning of the year, but I think that really turned our gears and got that fire lit underneath us, because we're we don't want to experience that again. So that really got us going really well, and this is the best I've ever seen this team after that loss.
I really think that was much needed in our season. I think we didn't get full of ourselves, but we kind of went into games saying, oh, we've won this money this far, then we're just going to win another one. I think losing to Addison was our turning point in our season. That's when we realized we need to pick it up. We're not going to win sectionals or states playing how we're playing. The teams are just going to get harder from here. So
Mackenzie is one of a handful of players who come to the Kearney softball team after helping lead the school's Selects Academy hockey team to the national championship game. They bring an attitude that fits in well.
Oh, the hockey girls are amazing. They're just great athletes all around. I've never seen girls who are just full of heart and competitive and just great athletes all around, great people, always out there with the eye of the tiger and playing with their heart, and it's amazing that they played 2 different sports.
When you're at bat, it's 9 players versus you, and then on the ice you have 5 people going to bat with you. So I think it's definitely different, and the winning mentality definitely is a lot more competitive, I think, because you all have to play a role. If you're not doing your job right, then you could cost the team a run. While in hockey, if you make one little mistake, you can fix it right then and there.
The transition from skates to spikes has been pretty seamless, especially for the starting shortstop, someone who's used to stopping anything coming her way. Hannah plays goalie in the winter.
I think a lot of it is quickness, hand-eye. If I can react really fast to the ball, that helps me, and catching the ball I'm really used to in hockey, and just and sometimes it's kind of funny when I stop a ball at short, I go down on my knee and it's kind of like a goalie save, but it works.
They're huge. They're just pure athletes. They may not be focused in they may not be softball players or hockey players, but they bring such athleticism and such good energy and good competitive energy to the field that they're just amazing to have on the team, and I'm so thankful we have them.
Well, we'd like to thank our sponsors, especially the 12 dealerships in the Vision Automotive Group, for making the Vision High School Sports Beat possible. I'm Dave Yates. We'll see you next week.